Have you ever noticed, dear viewers, that the most terrifying tales aren't fictional ghost stories, but the haunted houses left behind by real-life tragedies? Today, I'll take you deep into the world's top 10 haunted houses, each backed by official records, plus one hidden location revealed for the very first time. From an abandoned hospital deep in the Korean mountains to Paris's underground catacombs housing 6 million remains, every story sends a chill down your spine. Prepare to follow my lens on this exploration. Like and save this video. We begin immediately. I wonder if you've ever felt this. Compared to fictional ghost tales, places where real tragedies unfolded evoke a far deeper, more visceral dread. For behind every haunted house lies an indelible mark of history and an irreparable tragedy. Today we'll traverse the globe from South Korea's derelict psychiatric hospital to America's eerie hotel, then down to Paris's underground ossuary housing millions of remains. Each site harbors its own shadowy past. Without further ado, let's dive straight in. If any location strikes you as particularly chilling, or if you've heard related tales before, do share them in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to support our channel. More thrilling content awaits. First up is our 10th entry, Gunjiam Mental Hospital in South Korea. Many horror film enthusiasts may recognize this location. Hidden deep within the dense forests of Gunjiam, Gwangju City, Gyeonggi Province. Today, it stands as a forbidden zone shunned by locals. Originally established in 1961 as the Namyang Neuropsychiatric Hospital, it began as a legitimate medical institution providing treatment for mental health patients in the surrounding area. However, it abruptly closed in 1996. Rumors surrounding its closure have taken on a macabre quality, with tales of horrific incidents and the director's mysterious disappearance circulating. Yet, according to insiders, the real reason was a bitter dispute between the building's owner and the director over the installation costs of sewage treatment facilities, compounded by the hospital's already precarious financial situation. It ultimately became unsustainable, leading to its closure, not due to any supernatural events. Numerous chilling rumors surround this hospital. The most terrifying allegation concerns the collective demise of 42 inpatients in 1979, with some claiming these patients suffered abuse at the hands of medical staff. However, I must emphasize that these assertions lack any corroborating official records and remain entirely unsubstantiated urban legends. As the hospital fell into disrepair, increasing numbers of adventurers and paranormal enthusiasts began sneaking in for exploration. Inside, one can find shattered hospital beds, medicine cabinets toppled to the floor, and moldy medical records. The gloomy corridors and sealed wards create an oppressive atmosphere that feels unsettling even in broad daylight. The most notorious site is the unopenable room 402, shrouded in terrifying legends. Some claim the door was sealed after a horrific incident occurred within, while others report hearing whispers and sobbing at its threshold. Yet these remain purely subjective experiences of explorers, lacking any tangible evidence. In 2018, the horror film The Wailing, set within this hospital, was released. Employing a mockumentary style, it amplified and dramatized these urban legends, further cementing the hospital's reputation for terror and sparking widespread debate over whether the film's content mirrored real events. Yet I must reiterate, none of these discussions have been officially substantiated. Next, we turn to the 9th location, the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, USA. This establishment seems inherently cursed. When it opened in 1924, it was a luxury residence in downtown LA catering specifically to business travelers, boasting a marble lobby and elevators, facilities considered quite opulent at the time. Yet this prosperity proved fleeting. Following the Great Depression, the surrounding neighborhood gradually deteriorated, And the hotel's clientele shifted from business people to unemployed vagrants and the homeless, society's marginalized. Low rates coupled with a complex resident mix gradually steered the establishment towards darkness. From the 1920s and 1930s onwards, the hotel witnessed frequent incidents of suicide or violent death, including overdoses and falls from heights. More eerily, some tragedies occurred on the same floor or within identical room types, deepening the property's sinister reputation. By the 1940s and 1950s, the hotel's shadowy reputation deepened. In 1944, a woman gave birth in her room but, in a state of delirium, murdered her newborn infant. During the 1960s, a long-term resident known locally as the blonde with the pigeons was brutally murdered in her room, a case that remains unsolved to this day. In 1962, another woman fell from a great height, dying instantly and striking an innocent pedestrian below, resulting in the deaths of both. More disturbingly, the hotel has also been linked to serial killers. In the 1980s, the notorious Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, committed multiple murders in Los Angeles while residing long-term at this very hotel. Rumors persist that he was frequently seen entering and exiting the lobby wearing blood-stained clothing, with locals too fearful to inquire. Additionally, European serial offenders staying at the hotel during their Los Angeles crimes have further cemented its reputation as a hub for malevolent forces. However, it was the 2013 case of Lynne that truly cemented the hotel's global notoriety. The solo traveler checked into the hotel before vanishing under mysterious circumstances. During the police investigation, elevator surveillance footage emerged showing Lynne behaving erratically, repeatedly pressing buttons, entering and exiting the lift while looking around, her expression frozen in terror. Several weeks later, her body was discovered in the hotel's rooftop water tank. Prior to this, guests had reported abnormal discoloration and foul odors in the tap water. The case was ultimately closed as an accidental drowning, while questions remain unanswered such as how she gained access to the sealed tank and the reasons behind her peculiar behavior. No evidence of supernatural involvement has been found. Subsequently, Netflix adapted this incident into the documentary Crime Scene, Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel, amplifying its notoriety. According to media reports and historical records, at least 16 non-conventional deaths have occurred at this hotel since its opening. Later, the property was acquired by a group, refurbished, and rebranded as the Cecil Boutique Apartments in an attempt to shed its haunted reputation. Next, we turn to the 8th location, Lock King House in Lei King Estate, Hong Kong. Lei King Estate is an ordinary public housing estate in Kwai Tsing District, Hong Kong.
By day, it bustles with life, yet one room on the 3rd floor of Lock King House remains a forbidden zone that no one dares approach. This stems from a horrific murder that occurred on the 8th of May 1984. Retired police officer Yip Siu Man, driven by a broken relationship with his girlfriend Leung Soo-chi, stormed into her flat at Unit 16, 3rd floor, Lock King House armed with a weapon. In a fit of rage, he brutally murdered both Leung Soo-chi and her sister Leung Soo-tin, while also seriously injuring their mother, Yung Wai-kwon. Neighbors, hearing cries for help, immediately alerted the police. When paramedics arrived, both sisters were already deceased. Young Wei-kun survived only after intensive medical intervention. More incomprehensibly, Yip's parents witnessed the entire horrific scene yet stood by without offering assistance. The Sheoan was ultimately arrested by police and sentenced to life imprisonment. This case is supported by clear judicial records and is absolutely authentic. Following the incident, Flat 16 on the 3rd floor was repeatedly let. Yet new tenants invariably departed within a short period due to various unsettling experiences.
Neighbors also reported frequently hearing the sound of high-heeled footsteps in the corridor around 3 a.m. the noise approaching from afar before abruptly ceasing at the door of the murder flat. However, these remain subjective accounts from residents, lacking concrete evidence. Due to the sheer volume of such reports, the Hong Kong Housing Authority implemented an extreme measure. Unit 16 on the third floor was completely sealed off. Windows and doors were bricked up and cemented shut, and the unit, along with an adjacent one, was converted into a substation. It has never been used as residential accommodation since. This official method of permanently sealing a flat is extremely rare in the history of Hong Kong public housing, leading to the unit being dubbed by locals as Hong Kong's most haunted murder house. Folklore also circulates about the unit, such as claims that television sounds running water, and women's whispers can be heard within the sealed walls, unverified rumors lacking any factual basis. Next is the seventh entry, Osaka's Senri department store. During Japan's Showa era, this renowned multipurpose commercial complex housed shopping, dining, and entertainment facilities, serving as a bustling local landmark. Yet the night of the 13th of May 1972 irrevocably altered its fate. That evening, a fire erupted in the construction zone on the third floor. Subsequent investigations suggested the blaze may have been sparked by an unattended heat source left by workers, igniting flammable materials stored on site. The fire spread rapidly, with thick smoke rapidly dispersing through lift shafts, escalators, and ventilation ducts, effectively sealing the entire building and trapping numerous occupants. At the time, the building harbored severe safety hazards. Numerous emergency exits were deliberately locked. Escape routes were obstructed by clutter, and both the automatic sprinkler system and emergency lighting had failed. These deficiencies rendered escape virtually impossible for those trapped inside. Compounding the tragedy, the incident occurred during peak operating hours at the high-floor nightclub, trapping hundreds of patrons in near-zero visibility amidst thick smoke. Ultimately, the fire claimed 118 lives and injured 78 others, becoming the deadliest fire disaster in Japan's department store history. Most victims perished from carbon monoxide poisoning due to excessive inhalation, while others, driven to desperation, chose to jump from the building in their attempts to escape. The scenes at the scene were utterly harrowing. During subsequent clearance operations, rescue personnel discovered numerous victims' bodies clinging to one another in mutual support, suggesting they had attempted to flee together. These haunting images inflicted profound psychological trauma across society. This event is documented in official accident records and corroborated by media reports, confirming it as a verifiable tragedy. Following the fire, the Senri department store became widely regarded as an ill-omened site and remained long-term derelict. Today, the former premises house the electronics chain Big Camera, bustling with trade during daylight hours. Yet at night, many local residents still avoid approaching the area. Folklore circulates with chilling tales, such as faint cries for help echoing from the building walls when passing this area on the underground, or a taxi driver carrying a female passenger in traditional kimono vanishing near the former department store site. These are unsubstantiated urban legends best taken with a pinch of salt. However, in practical terms, this tragic fire catalyzed significant reforms in Japan's fire safety regulations. Subsequently, the Japanese government comprehensively strengthened and standardized the construction of evacuation facilities in commercial buildings, the routine conduct of fire drills, and the implementation of relevant management responsibilities, all measures aimed at preventing similar tragedies from recurring. Now we turn to the sixth location, the Jinxin building. Situated at the intersection of Xinsheng North Road and Jinzhou Street in Taipei's Zhongshan district, this unassuming structure occupies a bustling area yet has long been colloquially dubbed Taipei's most notorious haunted house. Originally, This building was not a residential complex but a hotel known as the Times Hotel. On the 28th of May 1984, a fire broke out in the restaurant on the second floor, suspected to have been caused by an electrical fault. The blaze quickly spiraled out of control. Due to the building's extensive glass curtain wall design and interconnected air conditioning ducts, thick smoke rapidly rose, creating a chimney effect. Many guests became trapped inside, ultimately resulting in 19 fatalities and 49 casualties of varying severity. This stands as one of Taipei's most severe hotel fires on record, corroborated by official fire department documentation. Following the fire, the Grand Hotel ceased operations and was later converted into a residential complex, renamed the Jinxin Building. Yet tragedy persisted. In November 1996, an arson attack on the 6th floor claimed 2 lives and injured over 60, while one trapped occupant perished after colliding with external air conditioning units during their escape. In October 2010, police discovered the bodies of a couple who had died together in a suite on the 11th floor. Beyond these incidents, numerous other fatalities have occurred in the vicinity of the building, though most involved individuals who were no residents. According to publicly available statistics, from 1984 to the present day, Jinxin Building has witnessed approximately 25 to 26 fatalities over a span of more than 30 years, attributed to fires, accidents, suicides, homicides, and other causes. This figure is derived from aggregated historical news reports, reflecting a complex range of incidents occurring at a significantly higher frequency than typical residential buildings. Numerous paranormal rumors circulate about Jinxin Building, such as elevators operating autonomously at night, whispers and sobbing heard in corridors at dawn, and appearances of ancestral tablets and ritual objects within the building. None of these claims are substantiated by empirical evidence. Next is the 5th location, Bengal Fort in Rajasthan, India. This haunted residence holds a peculiar distinction. It is officially prohibited from entry after sunset. Many assume this stems from some curse, but the core reason is the fort's remote location and complex terrain. At night, visitors are highly susceptible to accidents such as getting lost or falling. The authorities implemented this rule to safeguard public safety, not due to any so-called curse. Bangalore Fort was first constructed in the 16th century, around 1573. Originally designed as a fortified city combining defensive and residential functions, it housed palaces, temples, markets, and dwellings. At its peak, approximately 10,000 people resided here, a historical fact corroborated by archaeological. By the early 18th century, Bangal began its gradual decline. 2 cursed legends circulate among the populace. One claims the ascetic Baba Balaknath decreed that no structure within the fort could exceed the height of his dwelling, nor cast a shadow upon it, lest the fortress perish. The other recounts Princess Radhanavati uncovering a sorcerer's love potion plot. Before being crushed by a boulder, the sorcerer cursed the fortress to ruin, declaring it uninhabitable forever. However, both tales remain local folklore, lacking any corroborating historical records. Historical evidence indicates 2 disasters precipitated Bengal Fort's decline. In 1720, Mughal forces invaded Bengal Fort, plundering the city and decimating its population. In 1783, a widespread famine struck North India. Drought caused the collapse of the food supply system, leaving the remaining population to either starve or flee. The fort was subsequently abandoned entirely, becoming a deserted ghost town. Today, many visitors and villagers report experiencing peculiar sensations within the fort, such as hearing footsteps or whispers with no apparent source, feeling sudden localized drops in temperature, or encountering malfunctioning electronic devices. In truth, these phenomena are largely psychological suggestions arising in desolate environments. or issues stemming from electronic devices being affected by signal interference. Folklore also circulates tragic tales, such as a youth disappearing after spending the night in the ancient castle, or a young explorer falling down a well and later dying in a car accident. These stories lack official police reports or news coverage to substantiate them and are unfounded rumors. Now we turn to the fourth location. Bangkok's Sathorn unique tower, dominating the city skyline, stands a conspicuous 49-story edifice. Begun in 1990, this unfinished structure has earned the local moniker Bangkok's Ghost Tower. Originally conceived as a luxury residential complex designed by professional architects, the developers envisioned it as high-end apartments commanding views over the Chao Phraya River. However, the 1997 Asian financial crisis triggered a complete collapse of Thailand's property market, severing the investors' funding. Construction halted after reaching approximately 80% completion, leaving the tower as an abandoned skyscraper. This construction history is corroborated by verifiable industry records. Left unmanaged for years, the building has become overgrown with vegetation, its walls weathered and crumbling. Shattered window frames and the desolate surroundings create an eerie, foreboding atmosphere. Popular rumors suggest numerous worker injuries or fatalities during construction, with frequent accidents, though these claims lack official safety records to substantiate them. One verifiable incident occurred in 2014 when a Swedish tourist took their own life on the 43rd floor. This event, documented in news reports, further amplified the building's reputation for eeriness. Since then, numerous explorers have reported hearing footsteps and glimpsing shadowy figures within its walls. Subjective experiences lacking concrete evidence. Numerous floors are covered in graffiti, including inscriptions such as "Pray for divine protection." Due to frequent visitor injuries, management has sealed off certain entrances and installed locks. Additionally, influenced by Buddhism and indigenous beliefs, some Thai residents and devotees maintain that the building's foundations lie near an old cemetery, and its shadow obstructs sunlight reaching an adjacent temple, thus violating feng shui taboos. However, this represents local folk beliefs without scientific basis. Here I must correct a false claim. Previous rumors suggested that in 2025, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck Myanmar, affecting Bangkok where newly built structures collapsed, yet this abandoned building remained unscathed. This narrative lacks any corroborating seismic monitoring reports or news coverage and is entirely fabricated. Next is the third location, Canada's Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, nestled within Banff National Park in Alberta, Canada. This establishment was founded in 1888 as one of the earliest luxury hotels developed by the Canadian Pacific Railway. Its exterior is opulent, and the surrounding scenery is breathtakingly beautiful. Yet, despite its high-end appearance, this hotel is shrouded in numerous terrifying legends. The hotel has witnessed multiple incidents. In 1906, a severe fire broke out. Due to the failure of the alarm system at the time, coupled with the hotel's long, dark corridors and numerous rooms, casualties occurred. The exact number of deaths is documented in official records, not the previously circulated fictional claim of at least 3 people. This conflagration became the catalyst for subsequent paranormal tales. In 1914, improperly disposed cigarette embers ignited another fire in parts of the hotel. During renovation works between 1929 and 1931, a gas pipeline leak triggered an explosion. These incidents are documented in the hotel's historical archives as verifiable events. The hotel's most renowned legend centers on the ghost bride. It is said a bride fell to her death on the marble staircase on her wedding night. However, this tale lacks any historical documentation to substantiate it. There are no explicit death records, classifying it as a folk-derived urban legend. Over the years, numerous guests and staff have reported sightings of a bride in white, accompanied by chilling drafts or sobbing sounds. These remain subjective accounts without tangible evidence. Another tale concerns the tragedy of room 873, alleging that a father murdered his wife and daughter after drinking, then took his own life. The room subsequently became the site of frequent paranormal occurrences and was permanently sealed. However, the hotel has never acknowledged this incident, and no official judicial records exist to substantiate it, rendering this legend equally unsubstantiated. By contrast, the tale of bellboy Sam possesses some factual grounding. Sam Macaulay was a genuine, long-serving employee of the hotel who passed away in the 1970s. Numerous witnesses report glimpsing him in his old uniform, fleetingly appearing in lifts or corridors, assisting guests with luggage or offering directions. This legend, imbued with warmth, stands as one of the hotel's few benevolent paranormal accounts. Beyond this, accounts such as room 692 being pushed by unseen forces and sightings of a headless piper remain unsubstantiated subjective descriptions. Next is the second location, the Amityville Horror House. Many will be familiar with the horror film The Amityville Horror, which drew inspiration from a real house in Amityville, Long Island, New York, originally numbered 112 Ocean Avenue. The owners later changed it to 108 Ocean Avenue to shed its haunted reputation. This quintessential American colonial-style house, with its white walls and black shutters facing the canal, appears serene from the outside, yet conceals a bloody history. In the early hours of the 13th of November 1974, a horrific family massacre unfolded within its walls. Ronald DeFeo Jr., aged 23, used a .35 Bavri firearm to murder his father, mother, and 4 siblings, 6 victims in total, while they slept. When police arrived at the scene, all 6 bodies lay face down in their respective beds, showing almost no signs of struggle. Neighbors reported hearing no significant disturbances. This case is documented in clear judicial records and police files, confirming it as a genuine tragedy. During initial questioning, DeFeo attempted to blame the crime on mafia retaliation, but this lie was quickly exposed. He subsequently claimed that voices in the house commanded him to commit the murders. His defense counsel attempted to plead insanity, but the court ultimately found him guilty on 6 counts of second-degree murder, sentencing him to 6 terms of 25 years to life imprisonment. This verdict is corroborated by official judicial documents. In December 1975, George and Casey Lutz purchased the house below market value. They moved in with Casey's 3 children from a previous marriage, fully aware of the property's murderous history. Yet the Lutz family fled the house in panic after merely 28 days. They reported experiencing numerous eerie phenomena during that stay, such as walls oozing viscous green fluid, rooms permeated by an unearthly stench and chill, George waking daily at precisely the hour DeFeo committed the murders, the priest feeling unwell during a blessing and hearing low growls, the children seeing a red-eyed pig-like creature, and the family dog displaying terror towards a hidden small room. In 1977, author Jay Anson chronicled the Lutz's account in the Amityville Horror, a true story, which became a bestseller. Adapted into a film in 1979, it spawned numerous spin-offs, cementing the house as one of horror culture's most iconic haunted dwellings. However, it must be noted that the Lutz's descriptions of these eerie phenomena lack any third-party corroboration. Subsequent investigations suggest that some accounts were embellished for commercial storytelling purposes. Finally, we reach the top of our list. The catacombs of Paris. Beneath the bustling streets of Paris lies a completely different world. The catacombs of Paris. This is no naturally formed burial ground, but rather a network of tunnels carved from former limestone quarries. The labyrinthine passages stretch for hundreds of kilometers, though only a fraction is open to the public. Within the closed sections lie the remains of approximately 6 million individuals. This figure, sourced from Paris's official historical archives and archaeological surveys, is verifiable and credible. These remains trace back to 18th century Paris. At that time, the city's population surged dramatically, severely overloading its public cemeteries. The oldest, the Cemetery of the Innocents, had been in use since the Middle Ages. By the 18th century, it had become utterly overwhelmed. Bodies were piled layer upon layer, the stench of decay permeating the surrounding neighborhoods. Fluids seeping from decomposing corpses contaminated the cellars of nearby residences, leading to instances of walls collapsing and bones falling into private homes. These conditions fueled outbreaks of plague and widespread public panic. To resolve this crisis, authorities decided in 1785 to relocate all remains from city cemeteries to an abandoned quarry. This relocation process spanned decades, involving countless ordinary citizens, unidentified individuals, and numerous plague victims. By the early 19th century, these bones were systematically arranged by certain individuals, with skulls and femurs piled to form bone walls, creating the spectacle we witness today. This historical context is corroborated by explicit official records, confirming it as a verifiable historical event. A genuine fatal incident occurred within the catacombs of Paris in 1793. A man named Philippe Aspel entered the underground complex searching for hidden wine, only to become lost within its intricate passages and ultimately perish. Years later, his remains were discovered deep within the tunnels, along with the hospital key he had carried. This incident is documented in historical records and is verifiable. During the 1990s, patrolling security personnel claimed to have glimpsed figures dressed in 18th century attire, while explorers reported hearing whispers, sobs, and footsteps. However, these remain subjective eyewitness accounts lacking concrete evidence. Since the 20th century, the primary danger in Paris's catacombs has stemmed from unauthorized exploration. Despite vast areas remaining closed to the public, numerous adventurers have sneaked in, with documented cases of individuals becoming lost. A popular urban legend claims that an abandoned camera was found, its footage showing a man walking in darkness before abruptly ending, an unverified rumor lacking official police records. Moreover, the catacombs have inspired numerous cinematic works. The horror film The Descent, for instance, filmed scenes here, leveraging the narrow passages, pitch-black environment, and skeletal landscapes to evoke intense psychological dread. Right then, having covered the top 10 haunted houses, I'll now supplement with a hidden gem Bolyreak Abbey in Britain. Though its notoriety is less widespread, preventing inclusion in the top 10, its terrifying legends hold considerable local influence. Founded in the 12th century, Bolyreak Abbey originally served as a Catholic convent. During the 16th century, Henry VIII's religious reforms led to the dissolution of the abbey, a verifiable historical event documented in Reformation records. Folklore claims the abbess defied the order and was executed, while numerous nuns suffered persecution, burned alive in the square, whose stone pavements were said to be soaked in their blood. However, these details lack corroboration from official judicial records or historical archives, representing folk interpretations rather than verifiable history. Since then, local villagers have recounted numerous eerie occurrences. Candlelight glimpsed through the abbey windows at night, the sound of a woman's weeping, and sightings of a white figure clad in nun's attire. These remain subjective experiences of the villagers, lacking tangible evidence. In the 19th century, an aristocrat purchased the monastery ruins intending to convert them into a villa. During construction, 3 workers met untimely deaths. One fell from the roof, Another was crushed by a stone column. And a third vanished during a night patrol, his body later discovered in an ancient well. These incidents were briefly mentioned in local news reports of the time. Though folklore interprets them as bizarre deaths officially, they were concluded as construction safety accidents. Due to these tragedies, the nobleman ultimately abandoned the conversion project and sealed off the abbey. Today, Bolyreak Abbey has become a destination for adventurers, though few dare to spend the night there. In 2023, a British expedition team filmed a documentary here, claiming their cameras captured white apparitions. Equipment emitted piercing static, ambient temperatures plummeted by 10 degrees Celsius, and team members reported being knocked over by unseen forces, sustaining scratch marks. However, these accounts remain solely the expedition's assertions, lacking third-party verification or scientific validation, rendering their authenticity unverifiable. Currently, the abbey's entrance is sealed off by official iron railings. While open to visitors during daylight hours, access to the inner sanctum remains prohibited. Nighttime patrols are conducted by security personnel. The primary objective of these measures is visitor safety, not the purported prevention of disturbing restless spirits. Right then, that concludes today's content. Beyond the original top 10 haunted houses, I've also shared this hidden gem, Bolyreak Abbey in Britain. Which of these world's most terrifying haunted houses left the deepest impression on you? Was it the Paris catacombs harboring 6 million souls, or the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel haunted by the ghost bride? Do share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Feel free to share it with friends so more people can discover these haunted houses steeped in real history. Additionally, if there are other eerie locations or true cases you'd like to explore, drop a comment below. I'll research them and feature them in future videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.